last flood was in the middle of August this year. That was about 2 months ago. This is considered the big flood for this year. It's a combination. There was heavy rain for continuous for 1 or 2 days, and at the same time the release of water from the dam from Babagon, and so it adds to the volume of the rainwater. And at the same time also there was a high tide, so you have rainfall, you have a little bit of water coming out from the dam, and then of course high tides, everything puts together, so you create that flood. Of course, when it floods, it brings a lot of sediments. Sometimes lots of sediments if the area has been exposed and opened up, as I said. Particularly in this upper part of Moyog River, there's a lot of hill cutting. Hill cutting whereby you cut the hill and so you expose a lot of hill cuttings. Yeah. So they expose a lot of soils, and so because of that, the floods actually carry a lot of sediments, so that it's basically the flood water is so thick with mud.
Still.
A lot of silt, yeah. So because of the density, the amount of sediments in the river, the flow become very viscous, meaning that it's so thick. And because of that, when it flows, it affects almost all the aquatic life inside the river, because the mud is too thick, so the fish cannot actually see one thing, they can actually swim properly inside it, and at the same time also they cannot breathe inside it, and so they will be washed down all the way to the sea. Communities living along the river rely on the fish, and some of these villages along Moyog River, they actually look after the fish, and they have this system called tagal. Tagal is a system whereby they look after their fish along the river. It's actually becoming useless when you have this flood, this abnormal flood. Abnormal flood is that it's full of muds and silt. And so because of that, it kills fish. So only those fish that can escape quickly into little streams will survive. But those bigger fish who normally stays in deeper water will be washed down. And it will definitely reduce the amount of fish in the river. So it affects them. So it affects their, them economically. It affects they have this ecotourism, projects along the river. But when your fish is actually not there anymore, there's not much ecotourism there anyway. So it affects the aquatic life where people are dependent on, will actually be directly affecting the people. When they are gone, then people will suffer at the same time also. It depends actually. So as I said, if the river floods naturally, normally what happens is that most of the aquatic life will just swim to the side of the river, and then go inside the small river nearby, and then wait until all the muds pass by, the normal one. So the flood will probably occur in 2-3 hours. The most probably is half a day. The water will become more or less like clear again, and then this fish will come back, and then probably settle down again. So that's the natural setting. But a natural setting whereby you have muds, it will take probably 1 or 2 days, because normally what happens is that this flood water, when it flows, it will take a long time for them to settle down. Probably take a day or 2, and if there's no more rain, probably then it start clearing up, and then all these fish that escape from that mud will come back. But of course with less population lah. So it totally depends on the type of flood that you're expecting. Once you have unnatural flood, then it affects them in a way that is unnatural also. So what you can actually do is to actually ensure that this unnatural flood doesn't happen. Probably once in a while is okay, but it should not happen regularly lah. So what we should do is actually protect or look after our water catchment area. water catchment area is an area whereby when it rains, all this water will fall into that area lah. So make sure that that area where the water falls and collect all the water, rainwater into the river, make sure that all the vegetations are returned back to the natural setting. Once they are returned to the natural setting, then of course all this water coming down, most of it will probably go underground lah, and will be stored underground so that overflow water moving underground will be less because they'll be absorbed. Because you know, when you have forest bag, it's like a sponge. It absorbs the rain and keep the water inside rather than letting the water go, and that will control the flood also. And so if that's happened, then the ecosystem of the river will become more, you know, sustainable lah, more healthy in that way. Actually, it's both. It's both, of course lah. Rain, a lot of rain, you cannot do much.
Yeah.
This rain, if there's so much rain falling down there, you cannot do much. But actually, the part that human can actually do is like helping to look after the environment lah, looking after the water catchment ecosystem, so that if you look after that, even if there's a lot of rain, which you cannot control, this is natural, but if you keep the forest natural, then probably then you don't have much prevent a lot of this unnatural flood.
Selamat petang Ati.
Yes. Hari Kamis. Kamis lah itu, hari Kamis.
Hari Kamis Jumat minggu lalu lah.
Mungkin yang tanah di atas ada karena apa? Karena korek-korek.
Atau
Ya, tanah, lumpur sama campur lumpur lah.
jadi macam air lumpur.
Ya, air lumpur. Ada. Banyak yang mati. Tidaklah berapa banyak, tapi yang nampak saja mungkin adalah sedikit. Lain lagi yang tidak nampak telah tak ikut tuh air kan. Adalah diorang kan punduk diorang ada di tebing sungai. Tuh banjir sampailah sana. Yang saya punya jiran sana dia bilang dia punya tanaman langsat tumbang karena tuh banjir. 2 jam, ada 2 jam baru balik, tapi tidaklah jernih betul. Sekarang pun kabut saja ini. Yang bukan orang kampung yang buat sana itu, yang buat tanaman di atas bukit sana. Tapi ada juga aduan di orang.
So mereka panggil aduan orang akan bagi lah. Itu sajalah soalan dari kami. Terima kasih.
Bah, sama-sama.
Yeah.